everybody. It's me, New York vocalist Benita Charles. How's everyone doing this evening? I hope you're having a wonderful Saturday afternoon going into early evening. I'm back for actually this is a special bonus singing tip because technically we did all of our tips for the image section. Hello, I see I have a couple of people join. How are you today? So this is a special bonus tip for the image section because we have a special guest next week. I'm really excited about our show next week. It's going to be an Ask the Expert show for the image section, and we have a special guest. I'll be giving more details later. But so we've extended the image section for an extra tip because we have a special I didn't want to close the image section out without our Ask the Expert show for next week. It's all about self-care for the artist because our last tip was about self-esteem. So we have an expert coming on next week, and she's going to be talking about self-care for the artist. So I'm really excited about that. So I decided to do a bonus show today. How is everyone? Oh, hi Ernesto, God bless you. How are you? I hope you're having a great weekend. This is a special singing tips bonus show for the image section. And so next week we have a special guest for our Ask the Expert section segment. And so I just thought I'd give a bonus tip for the image section. So how is everyone doing tonight? My name is Benita Charles. Every week I give singing tips to beginner singers to help them become professional. We've discussed everything from your talent, live performance, original music, and now we're talking about your image. So all of the tips that we've been going over the past few weeks have been about your image, and we're just about coming to the close of your image section. So I'm really excited about that. Oh, hi Nadine, how are you? Thanks for joining me today. This is a special singing tips for the image section. We're closing out the image section, but we have a special guest coming on next week, and so I'm extending the image section with a bonus tip. This is tip number 41. So if you're new to singing tips, every week I give singing tips to beginner singers to help them become professional. My name is Benita Charles. I'm based out of New York City. I'm a New York vocalist. I'm a songwriter, producer, and now teacher. So I've been for over a year giving tips to beginner singers to help them become professional. The show is divided into two sections. We have a show part and a business part, and that was inspired by a movie that I saw some time ago called Get On Up, the story of James Brown. James Brown was the godfather of soul. Hi Mars, how are you? Thanks for joining. I'm just talking about my favorite subject. Every week I talk about this movie, but it was very inspirational to me, and it also helped me design the singing tip show. So as you know, James Brown was the godfather of soul. Not only that, but he was a shrewd businessman. So the music business has a show part and a business part. So that's kind of how I design singing tips. We've been in the show part for over a year, getting ready to go into the business part, but this is the last section of the show part, which is the image, your image. And we have a bonus tip today because next week I have a special guest coming on. She is a holistic teacher, author, business owner, and I'll be giving details about her a little bit later in the show. But I'm really excited about that because the last tip that we talked about was self-esteem. So it's really wonderful that she's coming on and she's going to teach us how to take care of ourselves as artists and anyone, to be honest with you. But, you know, so she's going to be, this is all going to help with your self-esteem and you as a person taking care of yourself. So I'm really excited about that. But I'll give you more details about that later. Just wanted to thank you for the thumbs up. So hopefully everyone's having a great weekend. We've been talking about image for the last few weeks. And so the title of this broadcast is Image is Everything, putting it all together. So all of the stuff that we've been talking about, I just wanted to put it all together for this bonus tip. So as you know, your image consists of your appearance, your communication, and your behavior. So we've had tips in all of those different segments. So in terms of your appearance, I have know who you are. Celebrate what makes you unique and use that to your advantage. So your appearance is your brand. So everything that you do is your brand. How you look, how you act, how you speak. And I have put your best foot forward in how you dress, how you look, and how you carry yourself. And one thing I want to say to that is basically always look good and you won't have to worry about it. If you always make sure you look good when you go out, because as you know, as women, sometimes we go out, pull our hair back, throw on some clothes, and that's the time when you run into someone or you may see someone important. So I just say, why not just look good all the time? Also, find your own personal style and be consistent with your style in everything, your image, your social media, your print, marketing, promotions. We had a expert stylist on one of my shows, Roxy Siegel. So if you did not catch that broadcast, she talked all about style. It was great. She talked about how to find your style. She talked about how to shop. She talked, so it was a really great show. So go back in the archive in the image section on my blog or the YouTube videos and watch that that broadcast. It's Roxy Siegel. It was a special Ask the Expert show on style. So that was awesome. So that was your appearance for your image. Your communication is your message. So as an artist, what do you stand for? What message are you conveying in your music? And are you properly communicating that message consistently? Do your fans get you? It's important to be clear and consistent. So what message are you conveying? For me, it's all about inspiration. So everything I do, I try to be inspiring. But everyone has their own different kind of message that they want to convey. Some people are more political. There's something going on here. Some people, they're more motivational. So what is your message? That's your communication. Okay, so there's some team spirit going on here. A lot of teenagers here. I'm here in New York City at the Brookfield. Always something going on here. The third thing is your reputation. So that's your behavior, which is your reputation. So, are you an artist with integrity? I mean, do you show up when you say you're going to be there? Do you come through? Are you on time when you go? If someone hires you, are you on time? Do you follow through? So how you conduct yourself has a lot. It's sort of like how you act is a lot more important than what you say, because if they don't match, then if you're inconsistent, if you're 3 hours late for your shows, people are not going to hire you again. So that's your behavior. So I'm going to do a full recap of all of the tips that I did. So this is not a recap. This is more just pulling it all together. Everything that I've talked about the last few weeks, pulling it all together. But I will do an official recap of all of the tips in detail after next week, which is the Ask the Expert show. Oh, and I have some questions in terms of your image that you should ask yourself. So first of all, what kind of image do you want? Like, what do you want to portray to the audience? And what kind of impression do you want to leave behind? How do you want to be remembered? And what image do you want? As I said before, so there's classy, there's trashy, sex symbol, rebel, diva, drama queen, activist. Like, these are all kind of things that you need to think about, and you need to be consistent in everything that you do, whatever image you decide. And what makes you different, and use that to your advantage. And then choose the style of music, clothes, makeup, accessories. How do you want to carry yourself in order to give the right image that you want to portray? So that's those are some things to think about when it comes to your image. As I said before, hi Robert, how are you? As I said before, I'm going to give a more detailed of all the tips that I gave in the image, because it really is very detailed, because I have 10 tips for the image section, and some of the tips it's about your appearance, some of the tips is your communication, and some of the tips is your reputation or your behavior. So those are the tips that I'll be going over more in depth in the recap section. But I just kind of wanted to pull everything together, because really your image next to the business is pretty important in today's age. More so, I'm not gonna say it. I was gonna say more so than music. It shouldn't be. But in the digital age that we are in now, everything is visual. Everything, I mean, you can't walk down the street with somebody who might take a picture of you. You can't get away with anything nowadays, because everything is visual. So it's very, very important. And that's why I really wanted to spend a whole section on the image section, because it is very, very important. So just to give you a recap what I went over, your image consists of your appearance, your communication, and your behavior. So yeah, so it's very, very important. Just to give you a recap, so your appearance is your brand. You are the brand. So whatever you do, whatever you say, whatever you put out there, that's your brand. So you want to make sure that it's consistent. You want to make sure that it represents you. It represents the authentic you of what you're trying to portray, that your message is coming across. Know who you are. Celebrate what makes you unique, and use that to your advantage. Put your best foot forward. Always look your best. You never know when somebody's going to take a picture, tag you in a picture. That's happened before. When they tag you in a picture and you don't like the picture. So always look your best. Find your own personal style and be consistent with that style in everything, in all your branding, in your social media, your pictures, communication. Make sure you're conveying the message that you want to convey in your music and all of your social media, and everything that you put out. All your communication should be consistent, and should be consistent to your brand and your message. Your behavior. Make sure that you have the highest integrity. Make sure that you come through with all of your commitments. If someone hires you for a job, make sure you're there on time, and make sure that you're prepared. It's very, very important, and it's very important to your brand, and it's very important to your work. Questions to ask yourself in terms of your image. What type of image do you want? And what impression do you want to leave behind? How do you want to be remembered? And what do you want your image to consist of? Whether it be classy, whether it be rebel, sex symbol, drama queen, diva, activist. What makes you different and unique? And use that to your advantage. And choose your style of music, clothes, makeup, accessories, and how you want to carry yourself in order to have the right image that you want to portray. So image is everything. It really is. Image is so important. If you don't have your image together, because that's what people are going to use to base their decision. Not only, I mean, of course your music, make sure your music is good, but before they hear your music, they're going to see your image. They're going to see that CD cover. They're going to see that social media post you put out. They're going to see your publicity photos, your website. They're going to see that, And sometimes people base their opinions on what they see. So just make sure that it's right and tight, and make sure that it's exactly what you want, and you can't go wrong. So that is the little bonus show I have. It's not very long, but I just, it's just pulling everything together, what we've been talking about the last few weeks. As I said before, I will have a more in-depth show in terms of all the tips because we had some pretty intensive tips on image. It's been very detailed, and but I wanted to make a special announcement because next week we have a special show. It's the Ask the Expert show with Carolyn Jones. So the show is going to be titled Self-Care for Artists. So she's going to be speaking about self-care to the artists. Oh, thanks for the heart. Carolyn is a dear friend of mine, and she's the author of Pick Up Your Bed and Walk, a self-care guide to improved health. She is the founder of Cheetah Go Project, and the company specializes in soul retrieval as a lifestyle, the importance of detoxification, and the art of self-care. She is a holistic health consultant practitioner who educates clients about the importance of holistic self-care, stress elimination, pain management, and alternative healing modalities. So I'm very excited to have Carolyn come on next week. The show is going to air Sunday at 10 a.m. So if some of you can't make it, please, you could catch the replay. But I'm really excited about this because, as artists and as people, as human beings, we need to take care of ourselves. So we have an expert. That's not something that I'm an expert in, but so these Ask the Expert shows are shows where the expert people come in and they discuss the topics. So I'm really excited about that because it really falls in line with the last singing tip of the image section, which was all about your self-image, which to me is the most important tip of all times because your self-image affects everything in your life. It affects how you conduct your life. It affects your career. It affects your family. It affects you. If you're not together, your life is not going to be together. So that's what I really loved about that tip is about how to improve your self-image. And we have someone on that's going to tell us how to take care of ourselves because our health is number one. If you're not healthy, you're not going to be able to do anything. And sometimes no amount of money in the world can buy health. So if you have your health, count your blessings and pray for those who don't because it's so important to be healthy. And she's going to teach us preventative care. She's going to teach us. Now she works with different clients and on how to take care of themselves. So it's going to be really great to have an expert person on there, telling us how to take care of ourselves. So this wasn't going to be a long show, but I wanted to just come on and thank everyone again for all of your support of Singing Tips. I hope that these tips are helpful. I hope that I give inspiration to you because it's very helpful to me. I mean, a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about, sometimes some of these things are things that I forgot about, I knew, and some of these things are things that I'm kind of like rediscovering. So it's been exciting for me in terms of Singing Tips. I have some references also. So some of the stuff that which I'll also put on the blog when I do my blog, but some of the references that I got some of my ideas from an article called Your Image is More Important Than Your Music by Brandon Seymour on DIYmusician.cdbaby.com. Why is Image So Important by Kathy Lemon, the Artist Development Network. How is the artist's image important in determining their success? Insomnia.com. And Finding an Image as a Musician, openmic.co.uk. So these are some references that I got some of my ideas from, which I like to give credit to. Also, I have a blog, so I will be putting my notes in my blog. And you can access that on my Instagram account, BCM Sings on Instagram. Click on the bio. It takes you right to the blog. I'm also on YouTube with these tips. So these tips are archived on YouTube, Benita Charles on YouTube, and there's a singing tips playlist. So you go on that playlist and all of the videos are there. So you can catch all of the videos there. I have a Facebook group, the Born to Sing Society. So you're welcome to join that group, and I post also my notes there, you know, my singing tips there, as well as if my friends are doing things, I try to post some of the things that they do as well. So that's another way we can communicate. But thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you again next week for our special Ask the Expert section on Sunday, June 11th at 10 a.m. with Carolyn Jones. She is a holistic healer practitioner. She has a book called make sure I get the right. Pick Up Your Bed and Walk, a self-care guide to improve health. So she's gonna be talking to us about self-care for the artist. I'm really excited about that. So thank you guys so much for everything and for your attention. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next week for the Ask the Expert section. And remember, the gift that he gave us is for you to use, so you got to use it. Let it shine, yeah. Let your light shine. Be you, be yourself. Share your gifts, and I will see you next time on Singing Tips. Thank you.